playing around with lighting, and this camera is kind of driving me crazy. We're gonna figure out how to get it to focus a little more regularly. So here we go. Let me go ahead and share that. Okay, so bear with the blurry screen here for a moment, and we'll get going shortly here. All right, so I'm going to pull up the comment section here on and yeah, we gotta fix the lighting, guys. Luckily, you know, what we're playing right now, or what I'm painting right now, is for me, so I don't have to, you know, we can take our time and make sure that our lighting is good and everything. Where is the view on watch page? Here we go. And I'm gonna cut the greetings. Hey, what's up, Cameron? So I hope this is, I hope I can get back in focus here. If not, we're in for a rough one. Man, I cannot get this thing to properly focus. Is there we go. I mean, it's like, it's weird because you get moments of it focusing properly. Let's see if I can switch my lighting to just go directly overhead like that. So here's where we are with Candy. I haven't been painting her off camera. I've only been painting on camera to make sure that the whole process is captured. We're moving pretty slowly on her. This is way slow for me, but you know, again, this is for me. I want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy the process. So that's where we are. Skin, and once that cloak is done, looks like it's still a little scratchy. It's not, especially right there across the front. It's not the, whoa, not the cleanest job, and I just knocked the back off. So anyway, so we're gonna work on her some more tonight. And we'll just see where it goes from there. If I turn this light on, let's see, yeah, see, if I turn this light on, then there's shadow coming. I mean, the camera itself there's too much light that way. So we got to get this. We got to get this right. What if I did that? What if I did it that way? But now I can't. Now I can't. The light looks good, but again, it's super blurry. There we go. Like, you can see her lit pretty well there. But trying to get the camera to stay focused is going to be a little bit of an issue. Let me try. What if we were to try? Wonder if it will let me play around with the settings for the camera. No. C920. If it will let me actually just no. If it will let me fix the is that all out? Okay, here we go. So we're going to take autofocus off because I think that's part of the problem, right? So if if I took autofocus off, and let's work at an angle. Sorry, I've got to figure this out live. But hey, that's what we do on this show, right? We paint live and we figure out our camera work live. Because I got to be able to fit my hands in this as well. So if I'm painting like that, that's probably gonna work. Probably gonna work. And let's see if I manually focus. It's funny, it's on the scale, it's making me move more towards the, what's it, the scenic, the panoramic setting, as opposed to the macro setting, right? Because if I go to macro, like heavy macro, I'm never in focus. Wow. So let's get it right there. How does that look? Just had it right there, right? So if I keep that right there, and I learn to paint right at about there, that's pretty good. And let's try, if I do that, it's looking pretty good. Had to leave. What did you miss? Nothing. I'm just playing around with my focus settings right now to get this to view a little better on screen. So I'm playing with the camera angle and the focus. Okay. What do you think? Yeah, that should work. I think that should work. So as long as I keep the miniature right there, that should be fine. All right, so let's save that. So yeah, okay, let's save that. And do I want more light? I'm wondering if do I want that light or do I want that light? Actually helps me. I don't know if it helps you guys. If that looks better or worse or what. Whoa. I don't know. Let's just do it that way, I guess. Okay, let's move this up. Yeah, it's not bad. Try again. See, that looks a little bit better for you. I think that looks better for you, but it's less light for me. It's not the end of the world though. Like I can paint in that light. It's just not as good. Wow, if I'm looking at this layering on the cloak, it looks terrible. Crap, that looks really bad. Okay. All right, well we better get to work because that looks really bad. I gotta fix that. Alright, the other thing that's kind of cool about this is you'll at least get to see a little bit of the wet palette behind me. So let's do that. Alright, well let's just see how this works, okay? So again, so what we have to finish here is I'm gonna have to figure out how to smooth out this the work of the cloak here a little bit. And then we're gonna do a little bit of the stocking, right? I said I was gonna do a pantyhose type thing, and I'll show you how I do that. And then it's just like minor detail work here, and then we can put the cloak on. Here's the cloak. Yeah, it looked okay when I layered it up a couple of weeks ago, but that's starting to look real sketch. It could use a good wash. to probably soften up the highlights a bit. It's actually kind of bad how that whole thing went. I want to show you some other stuff I've been working on, just because we might get to it tonight. Might get to a little bit more painting tonight, and if so, that would be cool. So we'll call it kind of bonus. We'll call it stretch goals, if we can get to some of this tonight. If not, not the end of the world. I'm going to mount it on one of these little sticky tack things. So I've been painting more Relic Knights stuff recently. I've been getting more of their resin kits, and let me tell you, they are phenomenal. Oh, and one day, this guy's been sitting on my desk for a while. This guy, this is basically E Honda for Ninja All-Stars, and he's amazing. And I got to paint him at some point. Actually, you know what I really got to do? See that fitting there over his arm? I'm gonna have to. I should fill that with plastic putty, so that you don't have that huge seam there. But it's a really cool sculpt. I had to get him because it's E Honda. I think you guys may or may not have seen Jenner the Seeker. So here's one of the resin kits, Jenner the Seeker. And the new Relic Knight stuff, like, they look like freaking Gundam. It's awesome. And so I gave him this kind of wild color scheme. This wild, like, not quite a gold, but it's a little more yellow color scheme. The resin stuff is phenomenal. The only thing I would say is, it is resin, so there's a bit of cleanup involved, but it's resin, so it's easy cleanup. The other thing I would say is some of the pieces are really delicate, so watch it in high temperature. Like, don't leave I left my bag in the warm sun. It wasn't even, I didn't even think it was terribly hot. It was warm, and some of the stuff I had kind of bent a little bit. And when it does, though, it's not a big deal. You just turn your hair dryer on, put your hair dryer on it for 10 seconds, and then you can reshape it. But here's what I really wanted to show you, which is going to be amazing. So I bought another Castellan. Last year, you may remember, I painted one for my Extra Life campaign last year. Let me just move the camera here so you can see. So I bought a Castellan. These are not cheap. I think it's like a $70 model. Well worth it, though. You guys saw the one I did last year. And so I had to get one for myself because I raffled that other one off. But it was really cool. Totally worth it. And now I'm working on another kit, which is the Star Lancer. Okay? You guys have to check this guy out. Like, this is just the this is only like the first night of working with the Star Lancer. I did some work on him last night, and the model is freaking incredible. Like, this is honestly, like, I look at this and I'm like, okay, this is why I love Relic Knights, or one of the reasons why I love the new RK stuff so much. Is like, this is what they're doing now. The original plastic stuff wasn't great. They had some good stuff in there, but like, that sold me. That, yeah, I'm in, dude. I want to paint that. So all I did on this was last night I did the priming, zenithal highlight, and then just a little bit of the white. But it's going to be a lot of white layering on him, and then it's just like some blue and some gold accents. And so I'm also trying to record my my white color scheme for Shattered Sword, because I keep doing it different. And so I have to have one way that I remember so that stuff matches, because right now none of my Shattered Sword stuff matches. Anyway, if I get bored of working on candy here, I'll switch over to that, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. So for the pantyhose, this is a really easy layering trick. And the hard part for me is going to be finding my colors. Okay, so all you're doing, it's really simple. It's just black, gray, and then you're going to take your heavy skin tone. Okay, and all we're doing is blending one into the other. I already have the black gray undercoat ready to go. So I'm going to take some black gray, put that on my wet palette, and for this we're just going to thin with water. Okay, and I'm going to take the first spot of heavy skin tone, and we're going to mix that up and apply it. All right, so if you guys are just tuning in, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting and what you should be painting tonight. More candy from Kingdom Death, and I was just showing off some of the other cooler stuff that I've been working on as well. So this is one of the first layering techniques I'd ever picked up, and I've got to credit the painting clinic for this. Oh man, when I put my brush away the other night, I really jacked it up. This brush is about to go. The tip is dying. So I'm gonna have to order another brush from Winsor Newton. Paint a little Japanese building for Bushido. Nice, dude. Man, right now it's frustrating because yeah, we had our other son, and I'm super happy about that. But like, there's so many other like cool miniature games I want to play right now. Bushido had, as you know, Bushido had always been on the radar for me, but it just couldn't break through because I'm too busy playing the games that I'm already playing. But I keep saying, one day I'll get to it, and that day has not come yet. You hear my other son talking. Bushido's so dank. Alright, so this is real easy. Now, all you do is you do that, and you just keep adding a little more heavy skin tone to your mix. The more heavy skin tone, the more water. And as long as you're going thin enough, it should go well. And the whole idea is you highlight it's almost the exact same way you'd normally highlight your model, with one exception. So when you highlight, you're supposed to highlight you're supposed to work towards the top most areas of the model. And in the case of a stocking, that's mostly true, like the top of the knee, the top of the thigh here. But what you don't do is, like, see the fold here at the top of the stocking, that you would not do. Whereas if you're just doing a light highlight, you would do that. But remember, this is pantyhose, so pantyhose gets sheer where the fit is tightest. So it's gonna be more sheer here towards the top, and then it's gonna be sheer here towards the back of the calf. Okay, and again, all you're doing is you're just gonna paint on more thin layers. That wasn't even a thin of a layer. But that's the idea. More thin layers as you go up. And you don't, it's up to you if you're going to go all the way up to basic skin tone. I don't recommend it because you want it to look sheer, but you don't want to ever want to have a pure skin color on pantyhose. You're starting to see how I'm doing this though. And then you can see like the bottom of the knee there, I'm really just kind of bringing it in tight and just letting the faintest amount of black gray show through there. And so with a color like this medium part that I'm on, you want to do a couple of layers of this color before you move on. That's actually that. And so what I did originally was I painted the stocking basic skin tone, and then put layers of like Nuln Oil wash on it, trying to get there. And it didn't look quite right. It didn't look, because in theory that should work, right? You just take your deep skin tone color and then just wash it down. And it probably would work if you had the patience to thin down the Nuln Oil properly. And the reason why I say that is because the way a lot of guys are doing skin tone these days is they're starting light and shading down to dark. They're actually mixing glazes down and then just carrying those glazes, like physically carrying them into the shadows. So it would work technically, but the problem with pantyhose is you don't have a lot of angles. Like for example, if I was doing the skin that way, I would paint the skin, this skin light flesh, and then I would take medium flesh tones and stuff and kind of draw it into the shadows, mix glazes and draw it into the shadows, right? And you can do that because you have creases here in the cleavage, you have creases here, where the abdomen muscles are. You have areas to pull them to. In the case of a stocking, you don't really have that. You just have, basically, like, 3 cylinders as I see it. There's a cylinder there, and there's one there. You don't really have an area to drag shadows. So actually highlighting up to it works a little bit better. Again, it's just my opinion, and it's just my experience working with this. And again, I have to credit Tony and the painting clinic for teaching this little trick because it's pretty cool. In the same video, he says, "Oh, you could do this for a wet T-shirt if you were so inclined," right? So speaking of Malifaux, what I did with Perdita Ortega was I did that same technique on her T-shirt. So I had a PG-13 Perdita Ortega that had she had a little bit of the anatomy poking out there through her T-shirt, and it's really cool. Like, it's hard to do, but it's really cool. If you want to see a really professionally done wet T-shirt, look up Heraldez, like Angel Heraldez stuff that he did on I think it was an Infinity Coom Rider, and she had a like a wet T-shirt type thing, and he did just a crazy masterful job on it. All right, so So this is pretty much going to be the last color in this. So I'm going to put it here and kind of concentrate it on the topmost parts of the cylinder. Now what I was saying about the ink wash is you can actually use an ink wash to correct this. Like if you go overboard with the highlighting, you can actually use that you know, a Nuln oil or something to correct it. Yeah, you remember that Perdita Mini I had. That was useful too, or you know, at conventions, I always complain about, like, you're teaching miniature gaming, right? And this stuff instinctively, because it's little people and it looks like toys, people will drag their young kids up there and like, oh, my kid can figure out how to play that. And you're like, dude, you can't figure out how to play these games. Board gamers are often intimidated by miniature games. Let's get real here. But you know, a lot of times those parents are just lazy and they want you to watch their kid for half hour, hour, whatever at a show. And so if you have stuff like that, you're like, look, guy, this is for mature audiences. I don't think you want your kid, you don't want me teaching your kid about the birds and the bees through zombie hookers or wet t-shirts on miniatures or anything like that. And so I used to do that, and I used to say, look, you know, I'd show them the models and go, are you sure you want me showing this to your kid? And sadly, only about 75% of the time it would work. There's always one parent's like, no, like they're so lazy that it's like, no, my little 6-year-old Danny, he'll figure it out, and you know, he's seen naked ladies before or whatever, and they'll and they'll still try to plop their kid on me. Had a guy, one of the worst ones was actually Relic Knights, and I had to break out Tugan and Cecilia. You know, for those of you who are familiar with that miniature, it's essentially we like to call it harassment in the workplace, the miniature, because Tugan is an older perverted dude, and he's reaching out and grabbing him by the Donald Trump quote. Actually, behind. But I had to say that. I had to throw that in because it's funny. But I had to show a guy that, like, you want me showing this to your kid? And he was like, no, yeah, he's okay. I was like, really? But whatever. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, maybe I'll be that parent. My kid is my son seems to be pretty damn aware at the age of 3. So I don't know. Maybe I'll change my stance on that. Okay. So, anyway, and that's looking pretty good. Right? It's just real soft. There's no... It could go higher, but I'm going to let that dry for a minute. And if it... what am I doing? I don't even have to do that. Autofocus is off. I'm gonna let that dry, and if I feel like it still needs more, I'll do another layer. But I don't think that's gonna need any more there. You know, another cool thing I can do though is I can at least do. Oh no. Okay, so. Now what I need to do is I need to start working on the little metal bits here, and I'm gonna kind of abbreviate this step a little bit by, instead of like slowly blending it up, I'm just gonna start highlighting with lighter grays. And as long as I'm thin enough, it should be fine. So is this light okay? Let me ask you guys, is that light okay, or is that better? I think that's worse. I think that just puts it in shadow. It's that light helps me, but it doesn't help you guys. What if I kind of threw it? No, see, it's too. I could. Hold on. Let me move some Wild in the Street stuff. I could bring this lamp up and try to shine it all the way down. Do you like that number? Does that help you? Is that better or worse? Yeah, no overhead light. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, ideally I'd want a light coming from behind the camera would be better. So I will have to figure that out. I could stick a clamp lamp on the desk and do that. That might work. Stick a clamp lamp on and shoot the light over the top of the camera. Let me try that. You guys mind? What do you mean you mind? Of course, we're gonna do this. We're part of the live painting process. Let's. I've got a clamp lamp right behind me. Question is, do I have an open outlet? Yeah, I do. All right, let's try it. See what we get. Wrong kind of light. You can always switch the bulb if I don't like it. Alright, so bear with me one sec, guys. Sneak this up here. Oh, stupid cat jumped on my seat. Well, Red is really? Come on, you. You wanna move? You wanna be on the show? Well, yeah, it must be nice, huh? All right. Okay. Let's man, stupid cat. Anyway, what I actually, stupid cat is the wrong word. Really smart cat. How about that? Like, incredibly smart cat. All right, so that's backlit. Yeah, that's like too much light, right? Yeah, that corrected it though. Look at that. Look at that. What do you think? Should we ask the cat? He has his own chair, like he has his own seat down here. Okay. I think that's awesome. I think that does it, right? That's like, wait, that looks really good. I think that, I don't know. Chime in. I think this looks, now we're really starting to see what I'm doing here. All right? Okay. Actually, and now that I've got all this lighting, yeah, the pantyhose needs another layer. And it needs a little more, it needs just a touch more heavy skin tone. Dude, I think we just solved our lighting problem. Yeah, I think that looks pretty awesome. So now, yeah, so now I just have to have 3 lights on. What happens if I turn off the direct overhead? Almost no impact. So this light here almost has no impact. It's actually, that one there is actually more for me. All right. So now I'm just gonna almost kind of stipple this last layer on. Sometimes you do that when, especially if you have a big broad layer. It helps you blend in a kind of bring the color to bear where it should be showing the most, which is, in this case, it's towards the top of the knee. And I can soften that edge as you extend out from it. My wife is shushing the little boy. The stream may be over soon. If he doesn't go to sleep. Little boy's kind of been on the hyperactive train lately with his birthday and all. Okay, so you can see that's starting to get better and better. Let's give it a second layer. Just here towards the top of the knee. There we go. I like that better than the typical white stocking that you get on candy. I think that's cool. But yeah, okay. Cool. So now let's mix up this gray a little bit. So he has this weird, like, I don't even know what it is. It's just like a gray. Is it a, it's not like a dagger. It doesn't look sharp enough. It's almost like she's just holding a TV remote control or something. I don't even know what the hell that is. Can't figure it out. Either way, we're gonna paint it. And we're gonna paint her bracers. I'm gonna put the gray here on her bracers. Right? And then right here. Okay. Doesn't take much. She's coming along pretty quick now. Okay, there's that. Let's use a little bit of a brown. We're gonna use some beige brown to paint the base of the Coke bottle. Here's the Coke bottle. So this brown is going to go on real thin because we're actually going to use an ink to make it look more like a bottle. Right. Okay. Cool. You know, I bet the models themselves will photograph better too with this kind of lighting. I can just take a photo with my camera phone and check that out. A little bit of scarlet for the, that's too light. I need carmine red. So carmine red for the label. There we go. Okay. And then while I'm at it with the carmine red, I'm going to take this cloak here. I'm going to paint in the back of the mouth here on Cola, who's clinging to the he's just clinging on to that back of the cloak. Can't get that red to stick, huh? Well, I'm starting to get some lag. I'll watch the rest tomorrow later, y'all. See you, Cameron. Thanks for tuning in. All right. We gotta figure out why you're getting that lag. We'll figure it out. I was talking to someone yesterday about the stream, and she thought it was, and she's a younger girl. She's, I don't know, probably 19, 20. And she was like, you can stream on YouTube? I thought that was just Twitch. And I've had another person tell me that too, like, oh, you stream on YouTube? That's really old school. I'm like, really? All right. Okay, so there's that. Now, let's start painting Cola. I need a color called Desert Yellow, or I could go heavy ochre. Yeah. Oh, heavy ochre is a little... Golden yellow is not quite what I want. Actually, let's do that. Let's do heavy ochre and golden yellow for cola. So this is going to paint real quick. Again, we're at the point of this model where things are starting to happen real fast now, because there's not a whole lot of... The only regret I have during this whole thing is, you know, I'm just now discovering what the optimum, you know, better lighting solution. Towards the end of the process, that kind of blows. But at least I discovered it, and it looks like moving forward I can do the live streams this way with a little bit better lighting. I may even be able to use the autofocus again and let the camera kind of do its thing. So that is, so you can see we're just painting cola super fast here. Wow, I'm a little too thin on the color, which is okay. Again, if you're too thin, that's fine. Just let it dry, do a second coat, do a third coat. Multiple coats is always better. Multiple thin coats, always better, right? In this case, it's actually starting to pull away a little, so I need to actually am gonna add a little more physical paint to the mix. Get some actual color down on cola. Okay. And while I'm at it, let's go ahead and paint Cola's little bag. He's got like a bag and a little adventure gear. I'm just gonna paint that in. And can also paint these little discs on the rest of Candy. Okay. Which almost puts me at a point where I can I can glue the two pieces together, which I should actually do in a moment. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry for a second. Before I'm gonna do that though, I actually want to start working on the base, and I want to do that now before I actually put the cloak on, because it's going to get harder to do after I put the cloak on. Okay, so I decided for the base that I'm going to do kind of like a nebula style base. So I'm going to do a sponging technique. Which requires me to find my sponge. I didn't think I was quite going to get to this point tonight. Wow. No, I had one. Ooh. I know, I do have a sponge. I have one right here. It's called a pluck foam. And I can just pull. And pull one little cell of foam out of my KR case. This is a little soft, but it'll work. So I'm gonna tear these into little shapes, and I want to do little irregular bits. So I'm actually gonna pick a little bit of it apart. Okay, so I'm gonna just try to get, and I want at least 2 different ones. So the battle foam stuff, actually in this case, it's a little more firm, and so you want to have that's actually a little bit better for this technique, but this should work out okay. Okay, basically all you really want is you just need a sponge with a kind of a little bit of a more textured surface. See, so you can see how I'm kind of pulling that apart like that. So now we're going to pick some colors. Okay, so I'm going to pick sunset red. Actually, no, I want a warlock purple. Ooh, here's some nice ones you can do. Do warlord purple, and should be able to do like a true purple. Yeah, no, yeah. There we go. So we can do a true purple. Uh-oh. Drop some frames. Uh-oh. That's bad. Wonder why we have frames dropped. And we're down to no viewers. Woo! Alright. So here we go. Take a look at that. We're just gonna take that sponge. And you can actually use forceps if you got them. Right? Ooh, that's too much. So kind of feather that out a little bit. There we go. Okay. I know that doesn't look like much right now. And let's go ahead and take this heavy blue and do the same thing. Do the exact same thing. So I'm gonna make something that I'm hoping looks a little more like a like a space nebula, because even though this is a Kingdom Death miniature, I want to be able to use it for relic knights. So that means I should make this base look a little more, instead of like a marble effect, I want a like an outer space type effect. Okay, so there we go. So I'm trying to make a like a nebula looking thing. The purple and the blue. Okay. And you just keep you can just keep doing this technique until you're at a point that you're fairly happy. And you can do other, you know, you can mix in variants of the purples and the blues. Okay. Let's do a deeper purple. Kind of soften up our purple a little bit. Uh-oh, we keep dropping some frames. I may turn off the local recording here in a minute, because I think we're going to get to a point where, oh, see, that's way too much. So you feather that out. There we go. Just take the sponge and feather it out. Right? Looks kind of weird so far. I know. Now, what we're going to do, we kind of have our nebula done. I'm actually going to take some sky blue. And we're going to do little edges of these clouds. So this is like our nebulous cloud. And I have the blue on there. So we're going to just color in some edges. And this should look pretty wild. Right? It's giving it a real kind of weird space tone. Right? Now I'm gonna dot specific dots in there. And my boy's still awake. Poor mom. I'm gonna have to go rescue her. All right. There you go. So I'm liking that quite a bit. So we'll leave that for now. And we're gonna glue ooh. So we're going to glue the cloak down. Okay. Oh, before I do that though, I should actually dot those. Should dot Cola's eyes in. And give Cola a quick highlight. Now I'm moving way too fast. All right. There we go. And let's highlight up the edges of Cola. I'm using golden yellow to edge that heavy ochre. Okay. Okay. Right? I know it doesn't look like much. He really isn't well represented on this particular miniature. So now let's go ahead and apply the glue. So this is plastic cement, which will eat away a little bit of the color on the miniature, but you're honestly not going to see it. There we go. And that's looking pretty cool. Now I have to decide, do I want to do a black rim on the base, or do I want to do, probably going to end up doing a purple, because it just feels right to do a purple on the base instead of a standard black base. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put a little more purple down. And we're just going to paint that base purple. And then really the only thing left to do is apply a little bit of an ink wash to the, we're going to apply some washes, and the model is essentially done. I mean, this has been a really fun model. Kind of scaring me that we're dropping frame rates, but you know, so I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna turn off the local recording. And then we're just going to move on. The purple is not bad. Besides, for the washes, I am gonna have to let that plastic cement dry. Well, not really. It may actually be okay to paint. The other thing I can do is, could very well paint a glaze, like a gloss coat over this, over my little Space Nebula base here. To give it to let it, you know, just so that it pops a little bit more. I don't know. I don't think I want to do that actually. We'll see. I think it looks pretty cool. Alright. Let's do our sepia wash. So just sepia wash over a couple of areas. And I need strong tone. I'm going to do strong tone over the soda bottle, and then sepia wash over cola. See? There we go. So there's strong tone, and then sepia wash for cola. There we go. Nicely done there. Purple's starting to dry but not cover, so second layer of purple coming down. Bums me out that I didn't get the blending on the cloth to lay down well. And I'm gonna have to fix it using a wash. I feel a little bit defeated there, but that's okay. It happens. I'm just thinking with this model, I'd be taking my time. And then when you take your time, it should blend a little bit better. But unfortunately, that was not the case with this. Okay. So let's go ahead and get that blue wash down. That should even things up. So we use blue shade here. Wow, still losing frame rates. This is crazy. And with a little bit of water. Well, that was a little more water than I thought. There we go. Somehow water got there. All right. So we're just going to use the wash to even out the blue on the model. Looks like it's doing an admirable job of that. As it stands, that it's just real. I don't like it when it's a real rough transition, which is what it's looking like. But the shade is correcting it. Okay. There we go. The shade's allowing all those colors to blend. Okay. Okay. Oops. Still can't get that purple to cover well. We'll keep doing another quick layer here. One day it'll look like it's covering. Alright, there we go. I'm going to turn off my local recording. So we'll see what we can. There we go. So local recording is off. Wow, starting to get some real traffic issues here. There we go. Sorry for that. I'm watching now, like there's some crazy lag happening. Okay, so it took a minute to get back on track there, but that's, oh man, still, it's real choppy. Real choppy. Ooh, lots of dropped frames. Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, I'm just gonna apologize. I don't really have an answer for this. I should have good wow. Could be that the stream needs to be reset, or I don't know. I know on camera it doesn't look that great. It does need the, yeah, it is gonna need the gloss touch, isn't it? I mean, I need to paint gloss on the, well, it's not the end of the world. I wonder what's going on with the frame rates. Yeah, I'm still, I mean, I'm just gonna leave it like that and see. Well, I'm gonna leave it there and see if it actually, it's still, no, it's still dropping. Might be time to go ahead and close the stream. Alright, so here's what I'm gonna do. Since it's still dropping, I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to Twitch. So if you guys wanna watch more painting on Twitch, I'm gonna go ahead and do that.